going on? Marcus Miller, you're checking out DunlopTV. But, hey, I'm gonna leave you out with a moose call. Ready?
Hello, sports fans. This is your friend Brian Kehoe from DunlopTV, and today, of all days, we're hanging out with Marcus Miller.
What's going on, Brian?
Well, it's good to see you as always. And this is the 30th year of the Jazz Festival.
30th year of the San Francisco Jazz Festival, so it's really nice to be here. We got a new CD, Renaissance, so we've been touring since the spring. We did 6 weeks in Europe, Africa, we did Asia, the Caribbean, we did the US. This is our last US tour, then we're going to Europe for 6 weeks.
You are a monster. Now, how does one build such a monster? Formal training, you went to school?
I started on a clarinet at the age of 10 and played clarinet all the way through college. But I also loved R&B and funk music, and the clarinet was not working. And then I picked up that bass and I played the first couple of notes and said, nah, this is it for me. A few years into my professional career as a bass player, I was working with Miles and I was looking for a different sound. And I recognized that every time I saw treble clef music, my fingers would move to the clarinet. I would like to pick that up again, but the clarinet, I don't know if that sound would work. Maybe a bass clarinet. I don't realize I'm talking out loud, and my wife heard me. And the next Christmas, there was a bass clarinet under the Christmas tree. Yeah. So, man, I started getting into it, man. It became like my second voice. So, during my show, I'll take a break and play the bass clarinet from time to time.
You recorded, produced, and worked with like the top of the tops in multiple genres of music. Maybe you can share with the folks at home.
First, like, really big gig was with Roberta Flack. I met Luther Vandross in Roberta's band and began to write music and produce his albums. David Sanborn, I was in the Saturday Night Live house band, and I met David Sanborn there, and we started working together. I started writing and producing for him for a long time. Miles, like you mentioned, Shaka Khan, Aretha Franklin, some really, really cool people. I was just walking up and down Broadway, just running into different studios for whoever need bass, from 42nd Times Square to 57, so more like 15 blocks.
Peeperama days.
Yeah, back then 42nd Street was all porno theaters and kung fu shops where you buy nunchucks and stuff. It's not like that now. They cleaned it up, man. It's more like...
That was the M&M store.
Yeah, it's like Disney Boulevard now.
Yeah, right.
I'm really, my sound is really a dry, direct sound into the board with no effects. That's the sound that most people know me for, because I spent all those years in the studio in New York and they didn't have time for amps.
Right.
Or effects for the bass player. You just plugged in, that sounds great, everybody get out of here, and then you go to your next session. So I just started fooling around with effects relatively recently. I don't use them a lot, but I try to use them effectively, you know? Wow. I use it when I want to really project through the band.
That mid-range.
The mid-range, so I don't use it till I have a wah-wah bass.
Right.
I like the envelope filter more for that anyway.
You want to cut through
So
and rise over the mix.
I want to blast too, yeah. Mr. Roddenberry made this pedal for me. He actually put my name on it too. Primary boost. My first overdrive. Another type of distortion. This is an MXR compressor.
The old bass compressor.
The bass compressor. And I use it just to like really grab the peaks, because sometimes when we get live, the energy gets really high, and I'll start doing stuff. And I can blow everything up. So I put this in just to grab it and say, oh, hold on there, so it doesn't get too nuts. You know? But it also fills out the sound a little bit, gives me a little bit more sustain.
A little salt and pepper.
So with the POG, the octave above is very nice. This is just for my moose call. Every once in a while when we have to we have to call the wild, we go. And all the moose go. OCD, nice little overdrive. So I just use it for accents. Yeah, this is an AC, another accent. This is the classic MXR.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, I have the MXR envelope, which is the octave box. That's probably the pedal I use the most these days. And I usually use it with the fretless because it tracks so well that I can actually play a good amount of notes on it and not worry about it. It really tracks well for the bass, you know what I mean? It's not waiting for those high frequencies that are more easy to reproduce an octave lower, you know what I mean? The thing about MXR is that back in the day when we were in neighborhood bands in the garages in New York, or the basements, we usually played in the basements. MXR was all there was. That was the effect. You know, you'd have like that orange phase shifter, man. I mean, that thing was famous because we heard Money, 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 and Anthony Jackson was playing the bass, man. And we were like, what in the world is that, you know? And then we heard like Herbie Hancock records and Stevie Wonder records, where it was all MXR stuff. So you're always rooting for the guy who's been around all along, you know what I mean? And MXR is really stepping it up, so it's really nice. Like, you don't want to use it just because you have a soft spot for it, you know what I mean? Because music's the most important thing. But for instance, that bass octave thing is really great. You know what I mean? It sounds great, so I don't have any problems. So as long as they're making great stuff, man, I'm down, you know?
Well, what is this one?
This is the digital delay.
I like the way that you use it as salt and pepper and stabs and jabs and like you're punching it in and out.
You know, like in other words, some guys use it for a specific song and the guy knows for this song. No, that's more of a pop thing where you know exactly where you're gonna go. So I just use it as an instrument, you know what I mean? Like an organ player just pulling the stops and pushing them in, you know?
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wrap this up. You guys gotta get to your sound check. Marcus, thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with us, and I know the folks at home are really gonna enjoy it. And
my pleasure.
Kick it.
Thanks, man.
Killing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your buddy Brian Kehoe from DunlopTV with the mighty Marcus Miller. Adios, amigos.